creative, unusual, unique. I had to include these. Hi, I'm Gabby and welcome back to another edition of the Fragrantician, where, as I do my famous flick, you're here. Why are you here? If you're here, you know what to do. You know what to do. But if you are an OG, thank you. I see you. I see you. And don't forget to comment, give a big thumbs up, and do all of that jazz hands, because we're mad here. So let's go on with the fragrances. Now this, because we talk about fragrances, we talk about beauty, skincare, and I've got a hair here that's just doing my head in. And do you know what? Are you like me? You can't wait to get back to the hairdressers, because my hairdresser Sue, if you're watching this, these ends, girl, they are so thirsty, so thirsty. So let's move on. Let's go on to fragrances, and we are talking about five unusual, unique, rare scents that other people may not be wearing, but you may well rock if you want to. And it was quite hard to do this because I've got quite a lot of different kind of unique scents in my collection, so I had to choose carefully. And one of them is growing on me. I've tried it a couple of times now, and I finally realised what it is, a note. Anyway, I'm digressing, sis. So the very first fragrance that I'm going to talk about maybe it's not the most unique scent out of the bunch here, I would say, but it is still fairly unique, unusual, fairly creative, I would say, and that's Black Perfecto by Guerlain, because, as you all know, this is one of my signature scents. So we're just going to go through the notes. So it's sweet. Now, it's meant to be cherry, but don't let that put you off, because it's not cherry predominant, this fragrance. It's not like the original is. It's almond, nutty, leather, rose and fruity, soft, spicy, a little bit animalic, and a touch of patchouli. So let's spray this in the air. Bottle is beautiful. Yes, I love it so much. So let's go through the notes, shall we? The perfumer is Thierry Vasser. Thierry Vasser, he is the perfumer, and he is the in-house perfumer for Guerlain, and he's done quite a few fragrances. So the notes on this, so if we go through the notes, so in the top you do have the cherry, the almond, and the black tea, but it's the almond and the black tea that really comes through. The cherry is not really there, it's not predominant on cherry. So if you don't like cherry fragrances, you may well like this, because unlike the original OG, the La Petite Robe Noire, this is so if you don't like cherry, you will love this fragrance. Well, you may not love this fragrance, but you may well like it. But in the heart of it, you've got the rose and the licorice, and that really stays. But the licorice is lovely in this fragrance. It's, oh gosh, and I sprayed that in my eye like you do. You know, this is what we do, isn't it? So the licorice, when it doesn't get you in the eyes, is like a bittersweet kind of like note in it. It is not too sweet, this fragrance, and I think because it's quite unusual, because the leather combined with that licorice is not a note that I've really smelt in other fragrances. You can get other leather fragrances, and there are a lot of leather fragrances out there, but this is a real soft leather. So again, if you don't like leather, you may well like this. The tonka bean gives it the warmth, the patchouli gives it that earthiness. The musk in there is quite clean as well, so it's not too animalic. It's a soft spicy, I would say, this fragrance. And the black tea is quite prominent as well. So the black tea, the rose, the licorice, the leather is absolutely nice. So is it a safe blind buy? Well, for some it isn't. If you do want a cherry-based fragrance, then this isn't for you, because it's not cherry predominant. I know I can't say that enough. It's the rose and the licorice. It's that kind of slightly jammy rose, but it has a juxtaposition between that and the licorice and the leather. Absolutely beautiful, unique fragrance. So the next fragrance I'm going to talk about is from another designer, because these are all designer fragrances and celebrity fragrances. I don't really, as you know, really have a lot of niche fragrances. So I'm talking about none other than the house of Givenchy, one of my favourite houses, and that's Ange by Givenchy. Now this was quite popular about 12 years ago when it first came out. So the accords on this is vanilla, sweet, warm, spicy, white floral, aromatic, it is, woody, yellow floral, soft, spicy as well, balsamic and slightly powdery as well. This is quite a unique fragrance. It's a mainstream fragrance, but not everybody talks about it and not everybody is wearing it now. The perfumer is Olivier Cresp, who's quite another famous perfumer, with Jean-Pierre Betoire. I hope I pronounced that right, Jean-Pierre Betoire. So, I've got to read this description. It says, the dualistic nature of Ange ou démon, which means angel or devil. Well, angel or demon, because le diable is devil, reveals new feelings, allures with its mystery and versatility, scandalizes and seduces. The strong, charismatic oriental composition is innocently crystal and sensual at the same time. So yes, I would say that, because looking at the notes, if I look at the notes here, you've got Ylang Ylang, which gives a little bit of brightness. It's a yellow floral, so it's quite bright, with lily. But it's that contrast between the lily and the oak moss and the saffron. The oak moss isn't predominant, but the saffron is. And the thyme, that's it, the thyme. There's a note in here which has thyme, so you do get a little bit of that herbaceous feeling, but you get that citric feeling of the orange, and then as it dries down, you've got the sweet florals coming through, those yellow and white florals of lily and Ylang Ylang, orchid as well, which is a fantasy note, and then you do get that sweetness. You get the sharpness of the saffron and the thyme, and the sweetness of the vanilla and the tonka bean in there as well, which gives it that bit of depth and warmth, and it's vanilla done perfectly. And as you know, I don't really like too much vanilla in fragrances. This just has a touch of vanilla that's not too amped up, which is good, because the tonka bean, see, I actually do quite like tonka bean, because it's quite resinous. It's not too thick either, because sometimes vanilla can be too thick and cloying, I find, but not in this. It's fresh but spicy, it's dark but crystal clear. It's two, it's many fragrances in one, and this is really, really beautiful. And I don't wear this enough often. I do have another backup bottle of this, because this is the original OG from 2006, this one. But the reformulated versions are just as good. But it's not for everybody. It is a bit of a femme fatale fragrance, and it's a fragrance that you may not want to wear all year round, but I would wear it all year round. But then that's me, and you do what you want to do. So if you want to wear it all year round, then go for it. But really, It's a fragrance my husband does like as well. He absolutely quite loves this fragrance, and he's nodding his head because whenever I have worn this, he has always commented. And there are some fragrances that, you know, I wear and he doesn't make any comment at all. Actually, that's given me an idea. If there's a video you'd like me to do on fragrances that my husband likes on me, please say, and I'll put that video down below. And he can compile a few little fragrances that he likes on me, and I'll do that video for you. But nonetheless, back to this. Givenchy Ange ou Démon. Stunning, not talked about, unique. A lot of creativity in this fragrance. A lot of creativity, I think, has gone into this fragrance, and it's not well talked about. So there we go. Next one I'm going to talk about is from the house, is a celebrity fragrance, and it is Stash by Sarah Jessica Parker, which is such a unique, unusual scent that I've never smelt before. This could easily be, I mean, if somebody smelt this, they would, you know, maybe they would say, oh, this is quite a niche fragrance, maybe, but what is niche? You know, that's debatable. But let's go through the accords. So it's woody, it's aromatic, it's fresh, spicy, amber, warm, spicy, and earthy. It's definitely woody, aromatic, and fresh, spicy. Those are the three accords, I would say. So it's, looking at it, it's been out since 2016. So we're looking at the notes. The top, you've got the black pepper, you've got sage and grapefruit. So sage is a little bit herbaceous, again, like thyme. I can't smell the grapefruit, I can smell the sage and the pepper. It's peppery there. But you get, now, I get a tiny bit of sweetness from the pistachio, because there is a pistachio note in here, but I get the patchouli and the cedar, and I definitely get that olibanum, which is like an incense kind of smell to it, similar to frankincense, which I love frankincense. So you gosh, my words are getting away with me. So you do have to like those incensey fragrances with frankincense and those kind of scents. It's definitely unisex, Actually, all 5 of these fragrances are considered unisex, if you want to consider what unisex is. So, you know, fragrances, genderless, whoever, whenever, wherever can wear all of these fragrances. But if you're a guy and you're looking at fragrances, all of these, although these are marketed towards women, because that's the key, they're marketed towards women, then they're not for women, they're for anyone. And this, I mean there's nothing feminine or female looking about this fragrance, but really any of these fragrances, really, I would say. But yeah, Stash by Sarah Jessica Parker. It's strong, it's long lasting, very good for a celebrity scent. She did really well with this fragrance, and it's such a cheap buy. You can get it, you know, you can get it for under £20, well under £20 if you look at it. This is a 50 ml bottle, and as you can see, I've used a fair good dent of it. But yeah, so that's Stash by Sarah Jessica Parker. So the next fragrance we're going to talk about is none other than a Mugler fragrance. I had to put a Mugler fragrance in because it is Womanity. And before anybody says, no, it doesn't smell fishy. It doesn't smell fishy. It doesn't. I can't stress that enough. Although it has a savouriness to it. So there's the bottle is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I mean, stunning. Now this fragrance is not for everybody. You're definitely not a blind buy, this fragrance. Out of all of these, I would say this fragrance and the next fragrance, the last fragrance, are not blind buys at all. So if you can sample it, I know it's hard at the moment, but if you can, please do. I'm going to spray it. It's like being at beachside, at the beach. That's the only way. When I close my eyes and smell it, it has a saltiness to it. Let's go through the notes in it. So in the notes in it, it's just basically fig and caviar with a little bit of fig leaf and fig tree. So those fancy notes that they've put in this, because it's blended so well. I mean, the creativity, when you think about these fragrances, all of these have got notes in here that are somewhat unusual than different fragrances, like not like your it's not like your gourmands or your sweet candy fragrances or your white florals or your not run of the mill, but your spicy fragrances. These fragrances aren't like that. These fragrances take you on a journey. These fragrances, they change, they intermingle with your skin chemistry on your body. So, from the start to the finish, the fragrances aren't linear. They're quite, they change so much. And in the air, they all change so much as well. And Womanity is one of those fragrances. It changes immensely on my skin. So the fig is predominant there. But that kind of caviar, it's like when the tide comes in and you've got like a plank of wood. It's got like that damp woodiness, that dampness feel to it. As the water has gone into that wood, you can slightly smell that dampness and that woodiness. That's the only way I can describe it. But that's how it is. It's so unusual. Fig leaf, caviar and fig, and that leaf gives a little bit of greenness as well. It is slightly green, I would say, this fragrance is as well. It's a strong like for me. It's not a huge love, and I have to be in the mood to wear this, but when I do wear this, it smells beautiful. It really does. Can you smell it, Richard? What do you think of it?
It's quite nice. I like it.
Yeah, it's an unusual fragrance, and this is a 100 ml that I got, and as I say, the design is beautiful. It has been discontinued now, but you can still get it still readily on certain websites, so try and check it out if you can. That's Womanity by Mugler. And the last fragrance that we are talking about is now, this last fragrance has grown on me in the last few days. When I first smelt this, I didn't think it was going to work on me. And it is none. I've only got a little sample. Now, I don't know whether I will invest in a full bottle. I'm not sure because it's still growing on me. But I think I detected what it was in it that slightly trained my nose. I don't know, because your nose changes. Anyway, it's none other than, so I don't want to keep you in suspense anymore. And I've only got a little sample, so I'll put a picture up here. It is Kenzo Jungle. So yes, I've got a little sample of it here that was sent to me, as a little bit left, by Chantel Tiffany. And I wasn't sure if I was going to like it. I thought it was going to be a love at first sniff, when you have that anticipation. Let's go through the accords anyway. So it's saying it's warm spicy, fresh spicy, vanilla, aromatic, sweet and soft spicy. Let's go through, shall we? So the perfumer is a very famous perfumer, Dominique Ropion, who's, just Google him. He has done a plethora, that's the word du jour, a plethora of perfumes. But the notes in this, so in the top, you've got a whole lot going on, You've got cloves, cumin and mandarin orange. Now, I can smell the clove, and I think it was the clove that I wasn't absolutely sure with, because you know what clove you associate with, you know, like tooth pain and, you know, that kind of clove oil, that kind of thing that you put on. It's not, and I mean, cloves is, you know, it's in another fragrance by Chanel, Cocoa, which I love. So I thought I would really, really love this. But I think it's the cardamom. It's that cardamom note. Because in the heart you've got cardamom, caraway, licorice, and then you've got fruits. You've got mango, ylang ylang, a yellow floral, heliotrope, a purple floral, and gardenia, a white floral. Then in the base you've got vanilla, amber, and patchouli. Well, it has a slight, you know, aniseed. It has a slight aniseed kind of vibe to it as well. And I love aniseed as well. But when I wore it, something in it was bothering me. And it was like, I really like it, but it was like a fine across, it was like a bit of a love-hate that was going on. And it was having that juxtaposition. And I'm not even going to spray it out the bottle because it's so strong as well. It really projects. My husband wore this. We went out for a walk and I was behind him and it was just wafting back. And I was getting those wafts and it was like, it was lovely. It was really lovely. And to him, I said to him, do you like it? And he said, well, I do like it, but I wouldn't have a full bottle because he felt it was too feminine on him. So I don't think it's a feminine fragrance, but he did. But do you know what? I can now pick up a bit of that mango in it. It has a bit of a tropical vibe, but it has a spicy vibe. And the heliotrope can give a bit of powderiness as well. Slight powdered. I can't smell the gardenia. Well, gardenia is not really a white floral note you can really smell anyway, but I don't get any orange in there. But the cloves, the cardamom, the licorice combined with the mango and the heliotrope, I get that. I don't get any vanilla, no. It's quite ambery as well. So you do like to have, yeah, it's quite resinous. It's quite thick as well. And a little bit earthy from the patchouli, but I wouldn't say it's predominant. For my nose, it's not predominantly. I mean, it's probably been reformulated, but whew, they've done a really good reformulation. So it's something I'm learning to appreciate. So thank you, Chantel, because I know she loves this fragrance and she dedicated, I'll pop her video, her channel down below. She dedicated a video to this. So yeah, absolutely stunning and beautiful. So now it's growing and it's so unusual. It's so unique. So those were the 5, in my opinion, out of the fragrances that I own that are quite unique, quite creative, quite unusual. They have a lot of creativity going on in there, and I think they're worth trying. If you don't, if you can, before you buy, at least try and smell them if you can, because they're so different and not everybody will be wearing them. So you've been watching, again, another hair flick. You've been watching another edition of the Fragrantician. Don't forget to leave a comment down below. But until the next time, we don't just dab it on, do we, guys? We slap it on. Ciao for now. Ciao for now.